ABC General Hospital's Nina Reeves in crisis. Cynthia Watros' exit speculation intensifies as dangerous Drew-Willow triangle threatens character's future. As contract negotiations loom and dramatic storylines reach a boiling point, fans are left wondering if Nina Reeves will survive Port Charles and who might take over if Cynthia Watros departs. The drama behind the scenes at ABC General Hospital may be just as intense as what's unfolding on screen, with Cynthia Watros, who has portrayed the complex Nina Reeves since 2019, reportedly fielding multiple offers for new projects. Speculation is mounting about her potential departure from the ABC soap opera. As her contract nears expiration, the 56-year-old actress finds herself at a career crossroads that could dramatically reshape one of Port Charles' most polarizing characters. The perfect storm, contract talks and career opportunities. Industry insiders suggest that Watros has been receiving numerous opportunities to expand beyond daytime television after 6 years of bringing depth and vulnerability to Nina Reeves. The Emmy-winning actress may be ready for her next challenge. Her recent interview with Remind magazine revealed just how uncertain she initially felt about the role, admitting she was convinced the first 6 months I might lose this job. Now, ironically, as she's finally found her footing with the character, external opportunities may be pulling her away from Port Charles. The timing couldn't be more precarious for Nina's storyline. Currently embroiled in the explosive Drew Kane and Willow Tate triangle, Nina finds herself desperately trying to prevent their reconciliation. Her recent affair with Drew, which was revealed just before Willow's wedding, has shattered her hard-won relationship with her daughter and positioned her as a major obstacle in Drew and Willow's path forward. A character written into a corner. ABC General Hospital spoilers suggest that Nina has been deliberately written into an increasingly isolated position. With no current love interest and her primary connections to Willow severed, the character appears to be approaching a natural exit point. Her recent decisions to sell her MetroCourt shares to Jason Morgan and sign her divorce papers from Sonny Corinthos have effectively closed several storyline doors. The character's current arc centers on her desperate attempts to interfere with Drew and Willow's relationship, but this positioning creates a dangerous dynamic. Drew, who has become increasingly obsessed and unhinged in recent episodes, views Nina as a significant threat to his plans. His manipulative behavior toward Willow, including lies about Michael Corinthos and orchestrated schemes to gain custody of her children, has painted him as potentially violent. When cornered, the death threat looms large. Recent storyline developments suggest that Nina's interference in the Drew-Willow situation could put her in mortal danger. Drew's escalating desperation to secure Willow and gain access to her children has made him increasingly unpredictable. His pattern of manipulation, including bribing medical staff and orchestrating fake drug tests, demonstrates his willingness to cross moral boundaries. Sources close to the show hint that Drew's vendetta against Nina could reach a violent crescendo. His previous statement about wishing he could put his hands on Nina when he learned about her sex reporting has taken on more sinister implications as his schemes unravel. With Willow beginning to see through his manipulations, and Curtis Ashford already having exposed the Nina-Drew affair, Drew finds himself with fewer allies and more desperate measures. The potential for Nina's murder would serve multiple storytelling purposes. It would remove a character whose actress may be departing, create a compelling whodunit storyline with multiple suspects, and force Willow to confront the consequences of her choices in men. Michael, Sonny, Carly, and even Nina herself would all have means and motive, making for a classic soap opera mystery. The replacement dilemma: who could fill Nina's shoes? Should Watros decide to pursue opportunities outside of ABC General Hospital, the show faces a challenging recast situation. Nina Reeves is a complex character, requiring an actress capable of balancing vulnerability with strength, maternal instincts with questionable judgment. The role demands someone who can hold their own against established performers, while bringing fresh energy to long-running storylines. Industry speculation points to several potential candidates. Though ABC has remained tight-lipped about contingency plans, the network's history with recasts has been mixed. Some, like Amanda Setton taking over Brooklyn, have been embraced by fans, while others, like Marcus Coloma's brief tenure as Nicholas, struggled to connect with audiences. Any potential replacement would face the additional challenge of stepping into a role during a particularly volatile storyline period. Nina's current positioning in the Drew-Willow triangle requires an actress who can immediately establish chemistry with existing cast members while navigating complex emotional terrain. The Willow Factor, A Daughter's Dilemma. The deterioration of Nina and Willow's relationship adds another layer of complexity to potential casting changes. Caitlin McMullen's Willow has become increasingly desperate to regain custody of her children, leading her to make questionable alliances with Drew despite his manipulation. This desperation has created a storyline where Willow might find herself in the position of either defending Nina against Drew's escalating threats or becoming complicit in her biological mother's downfall. Recent episodes have shown Willow reaching out to Drew for help, despite knowing about his affair with Nina. This decision demonstrates her isolation and desperation, but it also positions her as potentially vulnerable to Drew's more dangerous impulses. Should Drew's threats against Nina escalate to violence, Willow could find herself torn between self-preservation and protecting the mother who betrayed her trust. Behind the scenes, the business of soap departures. The soap opera industry has experienced significant upheaval in recent years, with multiple long-running shows facing cast changes and budget constraints. ABC General Hospital itself has seen several high-profile departures in 2025, including Sophia Matson and temporary exits like Kirsten Storms. These changes reflect both the evolving nature of daytime television and performers' desires to explore new opportunities. For Watros, who has already successfully transitioned between soaps, the decision to potentially leave ABC General Hospital represents a calculated career move. Her previous experience with primetime television, including roles on Lost and Finding Carter, demonstrates her versatility beyond daytime drama. The fan perspective, mixed reactions to potential change. ABC General Hospital fans have developed complex relationships with both Nina as a character and Watros as a performer. While some viewers initially struggled with Watros taking over the role from Michelle Stafford in 2019, many have come to appreciate her more nuanced portrayal of Nina's vulnerabilities. The character's evolution under Watros has moved away from some of the more extreme behaviors that characterized earlier incarnations. However, Nina's current storyline has also generated significant fan frustration, with many viewers expressing fatigue over her pattern of self-sabotaging behavior. The character's inability to maintain stable relationships or romantic or familial has led some fans to suggest that a departure might be narratively appropriate. Looking ahead, multiple scenarios in play. As August 2025 progresses, several scenarios remain possible for Nina Reeves and Cynthia Watros. The actress could choose to renew her contract, potentially leading to a redemptive arc that repairs her relationship with Willow and establishes new romantic possibilities. Alternatively, she could opt for a temporary departure, similar to other cast members who have negotiated extended breaks, while maintaining their connection to the show. The most dramatic possibility remains Nina's potential murder at Drew's hands, which would provide a shocking exit while serving the show's need for compelling mystery storylines. This scenario would also force character growth from Willow, who would have to confront her role in the events leading to her mother's death. Whatever direction the storyline takes, the next few months will prove crucial for both Nina Reeves as a character and Cynthia Watros as a performer. The convergence of contract negotiations, compelling storylines, and external career opportunities has created a perfect storm that could reshape ABC General Hospital's landscape for years to come. The question remains, will Nina Reeves survive the dangerous game she's playing with Drew and Willow's relationship? And if not, who will step into Cynthia Watros's well-worn shoes to continue the character's legacy in Port Charles? Only time and perhaps some behind-the-scenes negotiations will tell. Next, we will learn about the storm our newest Port Charles antagonist Sidwell is brewing, and why his name now sparks equal parts excitement and exasperation across the fandom. Sidwell blew into town last year like a rogue tidal wave, chasing the glint of diamonds stolen by Holly Sutton, and proving he would happily trade lives for carrots. Within days he had Sasha Gilmore tied up in a dusty warehouse, the icy sparkle of those stones reflected in his merciless stare. That hostage gambit was more than a crime of opportunity. It was Sidwell's audition for Port Charles' infamy, and he scored the part with chilling ease, forcing Sonny Corinthos, Anna Devane, and even normally unflappable Valentine Casadini onto the same frantic rescue team. No sooner had Sasha been freed than Sidwell executed a power play worthy of any Casadini heir. He snapped up the sprawling Casadini estate at auction, sweeping through the marble halls as if he'd been born on that cliffside. His arrival package included elegant wife Natalia, whose Paris fashion pedigree masks nerves of steel, and teenage son Marco, a classically trained pianist whose recitals now echo through rooms once haunted by Helena's whispers. Outwardly, the trio presented cutting-edge glamour. Privately, cracks appeared the moment Sidwell began stockpiling armored SUVs on the property and installing satellite scrambling tech that even the WSB found hard to trace. Fans originally pegged the man as a jewel-hungry marauder, but Sidwell hit pause on the diamond chase once he sniffed opportunity along the docks. He zeroed in on Sonny's shipping piers, declaring them an underutilized asset crying out for efficient management. Translation: he intends to steal the very arteries that pump Corinthos cash through the city. Rumor has it Sidwell already owns dummy shell companies in Rotterdam and Dubai, each ready to funnel contrabandiums, designer opioids, counterfeit art straight through Pier 47 under the Corinthos banner, while Sonny shoulders the legal fallout. That whiplash pivot from sparklers to seaports has online commentators spiraling. Message boards ring with laments that the plot lost its Casadini flavor and drags slower than a quarter main board vote. Yet even the harshest critics concede the actors' quiet menace can turn a routine coffeehouse encounter into must-watch television. It's the writing, not the performance, that draws their ire. And insiders whisper the creative shuffle stemmed from network directives to integrate Sidwell into front-burner mob arcs before November sweeps. Behind the scenes, Sidwell's subtle chess game is already in motion. He has slipped generous donations into the ELQ Diversity Initiative arming Michael Corinthos into quarterly brunches where business figures melt into personal confidences. Last Thursday, the pair shared eggs Benedict at the Metro Court while Sidwell casually mentioned modernizing port security. 2 hours later, a mysterious fire inspection shut down Sonny's main warehouse, delaying a vital Caribbean shipment and costing Corinthos Coffee 6 figures in penalties. Coincidence? Only if you believe Sidwell leaves anything to chance. The personal stakes are mounting too. Natalia, once dazzled by her husband's grand gestures, now keeps a private hotel suite downtown, citing creative retreats that suspiciously align with Sidwell's late-night strategy meetings. She confided in Ava Jerome that Sidwell's obsession with outgunning Sonny reminds her of his Monaco years, when a rival gallerist wound up in the Riviera surf with a shattered kneecap. Marco senses the marital frost, channeling angst into moody jazz sets at the Savoy and fanning speculation he could soon align with the town's rebel teens Jocelyn, Trina, and Joe, turning Sidwell's own child into an unexpected pressure point. Allies are where a villain proves his longevity, and Sidwell is lining them up like dominoes. Cyrus Renault, craving a fresh foothold after his prison release, has been spotted entering the Casadini gatehouse at twilight. Odds are Renault will trade intel on Sonny's trucking routes for a stake in Sidwell's future import hub. Equally tantalizing is chatter that Victor Casadini's dormant offshore accounts are suddenly active again with Sidwell's biometric signature authorizing transfers. If blood ties emerge, say, Sidwell as an illegitimate Casadini Casinhas claim on the estate becomes airtight, and the diamonds shift from loot to inheritance, retroactively validating his original heist. Of course, social media longs for a charismatic foil, and many viewers plead for Valentin Casadini to reclaim center stage. Imagine Valentin, bruised by recent heartbreak, squaring off against Sidwell at the Haunted Stars Masquerade Gala. Sidwell, masked in onyx feathers, offers Valentin a toast to family legacies restored. Valentin counters with a promise. Port Charles already has its resident Dark Prince, and I don't share titles. The tension would crackle like static, finally giving both men an opponent worthy of their respective ruthlessness. Yet Sidwell's potential cannot be dismissed. Writers are reportedly crafting a layered secret. Sidwell financed humanitarian clinics across South America under an alias, saving hundreds during a cholera outbreak. If true, the revelation grants him the most dangerous weapon in soap storytelling: a sympathetic core. Picture Sasha, the very woman he once kidnapped, collapsing from PTSD outside GH. Sidwell arrives, not with threats, but with a vial of cutting-edge meds sourced through his South American network, all to ease her flashbacks. Port Charles loves redemption arcs almost as much as it loves takedowns, and this twist could launch endless debates over forgiveness versus accountability. Still, Sonny will not sit by while an upstart hijacks his empire. A clandestine summit between Sonny, Brick, and Dex concluded with a vow to cut the snake's head clean. Expect decoy shipments, forged customs logs, and maybe a strategic arrest order funneled through Jordan Ashford to freeze Sidwell's assets. When that fails, Sidwell surely anticipates word. Is Sonny plans an old-school confrontation on the docks, fists first, bullets second. Envision fog curling around cargo crates, searchlights slicing through darkness, and two kingpins circling like gladiators while sirens wail in the distance. Standing between them could be Marco, desperate to shield his mother from collateral damage. A leaked set photo shows Marco clutching a flash drive rumored to contain Sidwell's offshore ledgers. If he hands it to Michael, Sonny gains court-worthy evidence. But Marco loses if father he both fears and adores. That moral quagmire might supply the very decent amount of charm naysayers claim Sidwell lacks nothing exposes human depth faster than a child's unconditional love. Whether the writers choose downfall or dominance, Sidwell's next chapter must accelerate. The diamonds must resurface, perhaps hidden inside a vintage steamer trunk headed to Pier 55, linking his opening gambit to the forthcoming turf war. Natalia's loyalty will snap or solidify, giving viewers either a high society divorce showdown or a Bonnie and Clyde schemer's ball. Cyrus Renault may double-cross him, Valentine might expose him, or Sonny could bury him beneath Pier 47's freshly poured concrete. What's guaranteed is escalation, bigger explosions, riskier alliances, and the entire Casadini estate serving as both fortress and funeral pyre depending on which side blinks first. So, love him or hate him, Sidwell is no placeholder villain. He's an earthquake trembling beneath Port Charles, and every slow burn scene is one tick closer to detonation. Next, we will learn about the shadowy mastermind who may be operating a brand new puppet show over Port Charles and why every whispered clue seems to spell the same chilling name, Cesar Faison. For months, fans have sensed an invisible hand tightening around the city. Stolen research from Professor Henry Dalton's cutting-edge neurotech lab, cash infusions to rogue mercenaries like Jen Sidwell, and the sudden reappearance of Brit Westburneel threads that now look eerily familiar. When laid side by side, who else but Faison would have both the bankroll and the perverse curiosity to fuse experimental medicine with underworld muscle? First, let's rewind to the dockside collision that reignited this speculation. 2 weeks ago, Anna Devane crossed paths with Liesel Obrecht beneath the low fog. The exchange lasted barely 90 seconds, yet Obrecht's voice cracked when she confessed she would erase Cesar from her DNA, if science allowed. That scene, bookended by nothing plot-critical, felt like a deliberate breadcrumb from the writers, a not-so-subtle reminder that Faison's imprint on both women is permanent, like acid on steel. Viewers immediately took to social media, arguing that such a pointed reference wouldn't be wasted unless it foreshadowed something bigger. The second breadcrumb dropped days later at the Brown Dog Bar. Brennan, nursing a neat scotch beside Anna, taunted her about dancing with the devil once and calling him Caesar. 2 mentions in the space of a single week? In soap language, the dead are about to walk her. In Faison's case, slither. Inside GH, intrigue thickens around Brit's clandestine meetings. Sources inside the hospital describe her reviewing neurological scans marked HDT-23, files traced back to Professor Dalton's clandestine project. Officially, HDT-23 is a gene editing therapy abandoned for ethical reasons. Unofficially, the tech can arrest degenerative diseases for select patients, precisely what Brit needs. As Huntington's marches through her bloodstream, one orderly swears he overheard Brit on a secure phone line whispering, "Yes, Vader." The dosage held at 0.3 milliliters. Vader is German for father, and only one man ever insisted Brit use his native tongue. If Faison is alive, how? Enter Dr. Rolf Brenner, an ex-DVX surgeon rumored to have perfected suspended animation techniques in a Serbian bunker. Bank transfers show Brenner received funds from a shell company Sabrosa Industry Estveri LLC Sidwell used to purchase illegal diamonds. Last fall, when those gems later bankrolled Sidwell's bid for Sonny's docks, Brit surfaced in Port Charles the same week. Coincidence grows thinner by the day. Let's pause on the Sidwell connection. Viewers know Sidwell is orchestrating a turf war. But what if he's merely Faison's lieutenant? Consider the pattern. Each time Sidwell hits a snag, Sonny intercepts a shipment. Jordan shutters appear, redirects overnight without visible panic, as though someone higher up already mapped fail-safes. Faison's hallmarks have always been redundancy and obsession. He'd no sooner trust Sidwell without remote oversight than leave Anna unmonitored. Meanwhile, Professor Dalton's stolen prototypes reportedly involve neuronanots capable of rewriting damaged DNA on the fly. Combine that with Faison's known fixation on creating the perfect operative, and the puzzle pieces snap together. Imagine Faison using Dalton's tech to stabilize his own aging nervous system. buying decades to resume tormenting Anna, while molding Brit into both heir and guinea pig. Her Huntingtons would make her dependent for Liffey still experimental doses. Only her father controls. Brit's behavior backs this up. She returns to work, but refuses overnight shifts, claiming clinical migraines. Nurses, however, saw her wrist bruised beneath a designer cuff, consistent with IV access. She's also been spotted in 5 Poppies Cafe, the same spot where Jason Morgan once staged off-grid exchanges. When she exited on Tuesday, patrons noted a faint chemical smell-a-sony mixed with antiseptic linked to her coat. Portable cleanrooms, favored by Renegade Labs, leave that scent behind. Now to the most explosive rumor. Nathan West may not be resting in peace. Ryan Pave's confirmed return next month has tongues wagging, and insiders hint he'll appear in an unexpected capacity. Here's the theory gaining steam. Faison, desperate to keep Brit compliant, revives Nathan through Dalton's tech as both test subject and emotional leverage. Picture Brit walking into an underground ward to find her brother alive, yet trap at his freedom the ransom for her continued collaboration. The ethical quagmire would tear her in two. Defy Cesar and risk losing Nathan again, or obey and become complicit in Faison's war on Port Charles. Anna's stake escalates as well. Should Faison resurface, every past crime she buried: collusion, romantic entanglement, classified intel returns like a boomerang. Brennan's jibe at the brown dog was more than a guilt trip. The WSB still mistrusts Anna's judgment where Faison is concerned. One false move and she could face internal charges, stripping her of the authority she needs to stop him. The irony is brutal. The only woman who understands Faison's playbook may be sidelined when he makes his boldest move. Which brings us to timeline. Sources near the writer's room tease a Halloween Siege episode written like a 90-minute thriller. Speculation points to Faison orchestrating a blackout across shutting down elevators, lock-sealing surgical suits while Sidwell's marks raid Dalton's secure wing to extract final stage nanits. The chaos lets Faison broadcast a pre-recorded message citywide, taunting Anna and declaring Port Charles the birthplace of tomorrow's empire. Picture dim emergency lights, ventilators beeping in overdrive, Brit forced to intubate patients with one eye on a ticking digital counter. She's told will kill the power for good unless she surrenders Dalton's hard drives. Amid the frenzy, Nathan appears on a security monitor, disoriented but alive. Maxie Jones, trapped in pediatrics with Bailey, sees her late husband and bolts for him, giving writers ripe opportunity to sink emotional daggers. Whether Nathan is truly resurrected or an uncanny valley clone, Maxie's reaction will be raw enough to shatter ratings records. Fans craving a redemption arc for Brit may finally get it. Imagine her overriding Faison's command codes, using Dalton's nanits on Nathan instead of herself and risking fatal neurological backlash. It would reinforce her medical heroism while severing the chains that bind her to Cesar. Meanwhile, Valentin Cassadin rumored to possess the last uncorrupted copy of Dalton's research called Ally with Anna, turning a decades-long rivalry into a shared mission: destroy the tech before Faison mass-produces it. Of course, soaps thrive on moral gray, and Faison's offer of a Huntington's cure muddies every ethical line. Viewers with genetic illnesses will empathize with Brit's temptation. Fans of classic villains will relish the theological question: does saving one life justify enabling a tyrant? Writers Court and Van Etten seem poised to test that dilemma until the very final beat. Advanced set leaks show a newly constructed underground bunker set, steel doors emblazoned with biohazard sigils suggesting we'll soon journey into Faison's lair. Lighting grids include UV strobes designed to make certain serums fluoresce, which aligns with rumors of a dramatic scene where Brit's vial of antidote glows cobalt under ultraviolet light moments before she decides whom to save. So, will Cesar Faison truly rise from the grave? The evidence lingering: name drops, Dalton's missing tech, Brit's secret treatments, Sidwell's unlimited fun silence like constellations pointing to one dark star. If he returns, Port Charles faces a hybrid threat, an immortal mastermind fused with bleeding-edge science, backed by a syndicate hungry for biotech control. The only counterweight is a fractured alliance of ex-spies, mob royalty, conflicted children, and a grieving widow who might be handed one miraculous reunion at the highest imaginable cost. Keep your DVRs primed and your heart meds handy, because the coming weeks promise the wildest collision of science fiction and emotional warfare General Hospital has staged in years. Whether Brit finds salvation, Nathan finds true life, or Anna finally slays her white-haired dragon, one truth is certain: when Cesar Faison enters the chat, No soul in Port Charles sleeps soundly again.